Have you ever wanted to experience your favorite old school RPGs and Japanese RPGs in a podcast? Check out Into the Verse with Kylie Kane, where I, Kylie Kane, narrate your favorite games in a full audio-only Let's Play experience. Episodes release every Wednesday and Saturday morning at anchor.fm/Kylie Kane. You can find me as well on most podcasting services, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 43, Gun Wizard and the Halfpipe Kid. On the cover, we see Gun Wizard on the top of a construction crane, holding a wand in one hand and a lasso in the other. Below them, skating directly at the reader, on a path made of red and black spray paint, we see the rider-suited Halfpipe. On the edges of the cover, we can see our team diving out of her way. We turn the page and our story begins. And with the panel of Lighthammer holding this skateboard, and the wheels are still spinning, and it's not just that they haven't stopped spinning, they are actively speeding up in your hands. And from there, I want to cut over to Inky and Asimov. The two of you are a bit closer to the whole Gun Wizard situation, and the cranes have been diverted from going down this street, and they're heading down a much less crowded, smaller side street. But there are definitely still people there. What are you all doing?
So we got cranes going down a side street.
Yeah, there's 3 high-rise construction cranes that are stampeding, and Gun Wizard riding on the top of a fourth one behind, cracking their whip, driving them, or driving them forward.
Who's driving the other cranes?
Well, magic. They can rustle anything. Good old-fashioned crane rustle, like you get in the Wild West.
I wonder what would happen if I just, got into one of those cranes and did a little teenage driving.
All right. Do you want to, run and jump into one?
If humanly possible.
Yeah. Give me an unleash to, overcome the obstacle of getting into one of these. If you make this, I will also, you can take control of that crane as well.
As Brian is doing this, by the way, he can hear Enki whistling behind him.
All right, that's an 8. Do you want to mark a condition, or is that unstable or temporary?
I am going to mark... Let's see. What actually makes sense here? I am going to mark afraid, because there's still 2 more, and I don't know what they're doing.
Excellent. So yeah, I think we get the... you jump into, the lead one?
Yeah, the one closest.
Cool. I think we get the panels of you running through the crowd and making a pretty awesome leap as it drives by, grabbing on the little ladder and pulling yourself up, and then we see you taking control and spinning it around towards the others. And I'm gonna cut over to Inky. Inky, what are you doing during this?
So Enki is still whistling and he's complaining. He's like, "Man, he never shows up when I whistle. This is not fair. Where is he?" And then he turns around to the cranes, and I'm going to try to make vines grow from the ground and try to immobilize one of the cranes.
Awesome. I'm gonna have you go ahead and directly engage a threat there. Does that feel right for you?
Yep, sure. That's a 6. Oof.
Does anyone want to spend team? I think we have 3 current. Yes. I think Brian's in a position where they probably could.
Yeah, I can sort of back up into one.
Yeah, okay, so I think we see the vines start to grow, and we can see grabbing the 2 other stampeding cranes, and they start to slow down, but start pulling against the vines, and we can see them starting to become unrooted. If you want to then tell me how you help from there.
And so you see a panel of me looking in a side view mirror and seeing these vines, and then just pedal to the metal, and I go backwards.
Slam into them. Fantastic. That brings us to a 7. So on a 7 to 9, pick one.
I'm going to take mobility from that crane.
Okay, excellent. And I'll actually give it to you on both of the stampeding cranes. I think we see Asimov slam the crane backwards, and then there's kind of a pile up, and that gives you enough time that the vines just overgrow in through the treads and secure them all down to the ground. From there, we turn the page and we see a panel that's a close-up on Gun Wizard, and they just have a look of just fury. And in the next panel, they've pulled out both their wands, and we cut over to a panel of Inky, and we see a shotgun pop up behind him and just fire. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow for me.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yes.
I just realized, like, who's going to take a powerful blow? Oh, that would be me.
Yeah.
Also, just from the side of the panel, I meant to do that.
Fantastic.
That's a 7. That's not perfect, right?
No, on a 7 to 9, you can pick one.
Yay. I'm going to struggle past the pain, and I'll take angry, because I want to be angry at cranes. That's like my life goal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Totally. And I'll take guilty, because there's some collateral going on and I don't like it.
Okay. I think like how about we get like you like turning as you hear this gun cock and diving for cover, like barely getting out of the way, like taking a grazing shot, and you also see like a civilian that gets hit with like a grazing shot. Nothing serious, but enough that like they are hurt. Does that work for you?
Sure. And as that happens, I try whistling again.
Excellent. I think we get like this panel of you hiding behind cover, and we get the the big whistle coming out from behind this like car, and we see 5 or 6 more guns just pop up, covering where you're hiding.
God damn it.
I just want you just get pinned down a bit. Are you trying to do something specific with the whistle?
Nope.
Okay, cool. And then from there, our next panel, we see a shot of the the villain that was in the rider armor, and we get like we see them pulling themselves to their feet, and as they do, we see the rider armor on them start to dematerialize, and we're left with we get an editor's note that says Halfpipe, and then we're left with a very like punk aesthetic teenage girl with just a massive mohawk, and in our next panel, she is running full force towards Lighthammer, spraying spraying her spray cans in front of her. In the background of this, we can see Ryder starting to pull himself up from being thrown into that building. Lighthammer, what do you do?
Can I throw in a flavor panel before I say what I do?
Absolutely.
The panel where we see her running towards me is from my like camera's point of view. And there's like comments where people are like, holy shit, she's cool. And like,
oh yes,
the fans are generally pretty into this aesthetic, which I also am pretty into this aesthetic, but I'm also like, she looks like she's about to kick my ass. So I look at the wheels on this skateboard that are still spinning in my hand, and I instinctively just like put it till the wheels are spinning towards her and just like launch a skateboard, trying to like knock her off her feet. Like she's running towards me and I'm trying to like aim it so it hits her feet and she trips over it.
Okay, excellent. What is your intent with that? Like you're trying to...
I want to take her footing from her.
It feels like a directly engaged. Does that feel right?
That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
Okay, cool. Good, roll that for me.
That's a 6. I know Ryder's near me and like getting up from that pile of rubble if Ryder wanted to spend a team to help.
You are all down to 2 teams.
I'm going to tackle her from behind and make sure she's set on that skateboard to throw her feet out from underneath her.
So that brings it up to a 7.
I want to take her footing from her.
Okay. So I think we get the panels of this. Like, you set the skateboard on the ground as she's running. It zips towards her, and about halfway towards her, it dematerializes into a normal skateboard. And there's a moment where we see a power coin roll out of one of the wheels towards her. She reaches down and scoops the power coin up as she jumps on the skateboard, and then we see Ryder tackle her. And they both go tumbling off to the side.
Is she still holding the power coin in her hand?
Yes, she is.
I want to pull her hand open and pull it away from her and then be like, who gave this to you?
Before you do, as the two of you go tumbling, we see a couple panels of you like super speed blur, and then we see it turn to a red and black, and she rolls out of this, and you find yourself on the ground, wrapped tight in spray paint.
Could I break out of the spray paint?
You can try in just a moment. You see her standing like above you, skateboard in one hand, or standing on the skateboard, and the coin in the other hand. Did you want to say anything to her at this point? as she's holding the coin.
Who gave you those powers?
She looks down at you and just gives you a smile and goes, "No one did. I just found it." And then she does a kickflip and throws the coin at the wheel, lands, and as she lands, the suit starts materializing out of the skateboard up around her, including over the mohawk. Now, go ahead and actually, you can just go ahead and break out of that at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have super strength. It's probably not even a problem. I'm gonna stand up really quickly and be like, "What do you mean you found it?"
She turns, she looks at you, kind of looks you up and down. You're in suit still. You're in suit at this moment, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it got knocked out. If you got knocked out of it.
No, no, this time I'm staying in it.
Cool. She looks you up and down and goes, "Where'd you find yours?" And then like kicks off on the skateboards towards you, lifting both spray cans.
How about no? And I don't know if she's going to try to spray paint me, but I'm going to super speed up close to her and then phase everything but my feet and plant my feet on the board and kick it out from underneath her.
It sounds like a directly engage.
It does. It
All
does sound
right.
like a directly engage. And the plus, hey, it's 7.
On a 7 to 9, pick one.
Oh, I'm taking the board away. The board is now gone. Bye-bye board.
I will let you take her mobility, not her board.
All right, I'll take her mobility then.
All right. So tell me what that looks like. Basically, at this point, her suit is latched into the board. She's connected. After Lighthammer took it from her once, she's not letting it happen again.
So as she gets back on the board, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to her, like phase most of my body to prevent a strike, and then just kind of put my foot in front of the board, because you know what happens when a skateboard hits rocks or large objects? Typically it sends the rider tumbling. And even if it's still attached to her feet, this is going to hurt.
Right. Before we narrate how this happens, I'd like you to go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow. How that ends up going down, like how that roll comes out, is going to determine what exactly that looks like.
Oh, why? No, bad. Damn it.
So that's a 12. Pick one.
Son of a. I'm going to give this to the GM. I'm going to lose control of myself or my powers in a terrible way.
Awesome. Okay. So we get the panels of you super speeding towards the board, and you slam one foot down on like the end of the board, and we get panels of her tumbling like fully over you. You kind of like flip the whole board over you, and we get one panel where her hand touches your belt, and she lands not gracefully at all, sprawled out, slammed against the ground. And we get this panel from her perspective as she looks up as you dematerialize, and her hand holds up your coin.
All right. I see what you do. The difference between me and the other riders is I've absorbed my powers. I'm going to hit her really hard.
She takes off as you come towards her. Without the coin, her speed is a little bit better than yours.
Is her speed better than faster than my sandblasts?
I think we will find that out right after we check in on Brian and Inky.
Perfect.
Brian, we see you still in your crane, and you can see Inky kind of held down by this barrage of gunfire. You also see Gun Wizard standing at the top of another crane, paying full attention to that situation. What do you do?
What is attached to the crane?
I don't know. What do you want attached to the crane? Big hook, big wrecking ball? Up to you.
Oh, gee, there's so many possibilities.
Could be a big magnet. I don't know. What can you put on a crane? Could be a shipping container.
Let's just go with a wrecking ball, because I think I want to swing a wrecking ball over at Gun Wizard's crane.
Excellent. This feels like a directly engaged threat.
Oh, yes. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Excellent. So that's an 8. I think we get a panel of like this wrecking ball full on knocking the crane Gun Wizard is on over. They go flying off the crane, slam down to the pavement. The crane is basically destroyed at this point. So I think you all have taken care of all the cranes except, yeah, you've taken care of all the cranes and are currently commanding one of them. And then they just start running. They like look out at the situation, realize that they are not in a great spot, and run. And I think we cut over to Inky and we see like you peek out and all the guns just poof out. What do you want to do?
I think first of all, I look behind me and I'm like looking around, seeing if nothing's coming, cursing under my breath. So the 2 cranes are still immobilized, right? And the third one is with Brian.
Yes. And like the cranes that were immobilized with the vines were still like kind of pulling against the vines. Now that Gun Wizard seems to be completely running, they aren't moving at all. I think they're running, but just like idling, not, yeah.
I think I run and jump on all fours like a cat, and I jump on the wrecking ball. And I as Brian swings it, and I use it to swing myself with the wrecking ball towards where the danger is. I guess.
Like going after Gun Wizard, trying to stop him from getting away.
Yeah, like I think Brian is swinging it at Gun Wizard, right?
I mean, it's swinging back, so Brian could definitely take it for another swing.
I imagine that Brian is swinging it at something, which is probably Gun Wizard, and I pounce on it and use it as a slingshot to sling myself towards Gun Wizard.
I'm good with that. You good with that, Brian?
Sure.
That's so good. Give me a directly engage.
Enki of the city.
That's an 11.
Yay.
Pick two.
I'm going to resist or avoid their blows. And I'm going to surprise Gun Wizard. Because I think that the ball launches me like way up high into the sky. And I think we get a panel of Gun Wizard running. And then suddenly, like from way above, I suddenly just drop on top of them.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. And kind of like outside mechanic, like pulling back the curtain a little bit, this is going to take Gun Wizard out. So you can just tell me how that scene ends up. Like, what do you do after you land on them?
I think Gun Wizard ran like a few hundred meters, far enough that I'm not in view of the others. So I think I'd land on Gun Wizard, face plant, and not move anymore. So I just stand up all heroically, and I put my my fists on my hips, and I in the hero pose, and I look around, and there's nobody there. We're in a back alley. Nobody's watching me.
That's fantastic. Oh, delightful. And I think we turn the page and we see Ryder running out of suit as fast as they can after HP or Halfpipe as they're skating through this street. I think most of the crowds are gone at this point. In the background, we can see Asimov still in the crane with the wrecking ball. And Lighthammer, what do you do?
I want to take my hammer and like point it and like sound blast through the hammer. And essentially, I'm not trying to hurt her. I just want to like knock the coin out of her hand so Ryder can get it back.
Okay, go ahead and directly engage a threat. Because I think that is distinctly taking something from them.
Because I'm live streaming, does this count as directly engaging a threat with an audience watching?
If you wanted to, because you have the marking condition for that, right?
I do indeed. Actually, no. I think I'm good. I mean, it would give me a +2, but also none of these conditions feel like they're appropriate. So never mind. Retcon all that shit. I'm just gonna directly engage and hope it's good enough.
I mean, if you want the condition to become appropriate, I can give you some fan chatter that'll give you an appropriate condition.
Nah.
Because like you're seeing your live stream, you can.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
That's a 4.
Can I make a suggestion for how this goes badly?
Sure. I'm not. Feel free to suggest. I might not listen to it.
I think Ryder's almost caught up, and Ryder's like about to grab the coin, and then my sound blast hits him, and he like gets knocked off course, and like she gets a little bit more away.
I'm gonna go with part of that. So we see this panel where she's like skated ahead of Ryder and has spray painted like a loop-de-loop to like go up and over Ryder's head back the way he came. And we see Ryder's hand reach up and almost grab the coin. And then we see your precision beam fly by slam into the coin, knocking it like out of both of their hands. And then we get a couple panels of it bouncing through the streets and then falling into a sewer drain.
What the hell? Ryder looks over at Light and just kind of throws his hands up like, what?
I reach up to my comm and I'm like, hey, Enki or Brian, we need someone who can reach far things. So, Brian, if you have a drone, or Enki, if you have a vine, here's my location. I could use some help.
Brian's in there looking very nervously at the stick shift, just saying, oh God, how do I park this thing?
And I think we get a panel of Halfpipe and Ryder Typhon in this moment. Like, she looks straight at Ryder as she's like skating by and goes, wow, your team is as bad as mine.
Ryder has this entirely stupid, dumbfounded look on his face like, the hell is going on? That would be the entire panel. You zoom in on his face, this look on it, just like, the fuck?
I don't know why this is giving me big, like, Vanya and Five driving past each other in the new Umbrella Academy season vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, her driving past, like, mocking, and Ryder being like, what the fuck?
And I think we get some... Ryder, are you still, like, chasing after her?
I have temporarily stopped in my WTF-ness and I'm just staring at this point like, what even am I supposed to do now?
All right, excellent. I think we see her skate like past you and then like look back and notice you aren't following. And then she like pulls out a can and spray paints another like curve and swings back past you again. Like it at this point, it's very clear she's not really, she's kind of toying with you.
Part of me just wants to, like, as she comes back for the next pass, just put my arm out. Clothesline her.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Let's see how this goes. Is that a directly engage? Is that what that is?
Give me a directly engage.
Let's go on this directly engage. Sure. Yes. Instant Pro Wrestling. Let's go. I'm impressing, surprising, or frightening the opposition. I think this would count as a surprise.
Excellent. I think like, yeah, she skates by you. And I think this happens a couple times where she just kind of loops around back at you. And then you just slam your arm out at the last second. She hits, there's this big oof. And she just dead stops by slamming into you in her full suited form. So I want you to go ahead and just mark a condition. Because you are strong, but you are not in suit.
I am not in suit.
We get a panel where she like is fully stopped in your arms, looks at you and goes, how are you so strong without that coin? God, I don't understand this shit at all.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm still kind of new at this. Would you like to learn properly? I mean, you say you found this. Who taught you how to use it?
I've been teaching myself. Are you still holding on to her tightly?
Very much so.
Okay, then I think I'm going to need you to provoke her into continuing talking to you and not just to struggle and try to get away.
Okay. That's 7. Okay, they can choose one. They stumble, they err, or they overreact.
Okay, so she starts struggling in your arms. You can tell that super strength, like she definitely has enhanced strength, but not super strength to your level, so you're able to hold on to her. She's like, no, this is a trick. You're just going to take me into the police, and you're going to gain influence over her.
Okay. Cool. Dope.
Can I come up at that moment?
Sure.
I think I was like originally jogging, but now I see that like Ryder is holding her, so I just kind of like walk up and I'm like, I mean, he was literally just talking about how he wants to train dumbass kids like you to like make sure that the Ryder power thing doesn't get into the wrong hands. So him turning you in is
What my friend is saying is that it would go against my own interest to turn you in.
She looks over at Lighthammer, is like, are you live?
yeah, always.
Good. Then all the light fanners saw me kick your ass.
while I'm sure that Ryder puts continues holding on to Halfpipe with one hand or with both his hands, looks over at Light to say don't, and then looks back at Halfpipe and says,
Hold on. I like run a really quick panel of me like scrolling through the footage, and I'm like, you literally never touched me. You hit Ryder a bunch, but you didn't get close to touching me. What are you talking about?
And I think at that, she gets one arm free and just gets a gut shot in on you. No mechanical effects. She just wanted to get a punch in.
okay,
Oh no, on Lighthammer.
Oh goodness. All right.
I like take a single step backwards, and I'm like, ow.
Okay, so we'll deal with that later, but for now, you're strong. You've got these new powers. You're pretty good at using them, but I know someone who could make you even better. And if you'd like, maybe we can turn you into a protector, like me.
Did you let go of her yet?
No.
Okay.
She seems to like settle down slightly and then like glares over at Lighthammer and goes, if we're going to talk about this, cut the feed.
I roll my eyes and I'm like, all right, fine.
The feed's cut. What do you
Do
want
you
to
do
say?
any side off, Lighthammer?
Not this time.
So I think we get a panel from the feed, like as it's cut off, and we hear "Buy Light Fit" from her as it cuts off, and I think this is probably about when Brian shows up.
I'd like to think you guys suddenly smell something.
Oh, Brian, why are you? Did you find my coin?
I slowly drag out of my pocket, first a dead fish, and then the coin.
I look at HP and I'm like, thank God you told me to cut the feed. Oh my God, I've never loved anyone more.
She looks up at Ryder and goes, "If I desuit, will you get off me?"
Yeah, I'll let you go. It's getting a little awkward holding you anyways. You're not my type.
And the suit starts to dematerialize.
And Ryder puts her down and then grabs the coin, like kind of out of Brian's hand, and is like, oh, this is all right, and puts it back in the buckler, but doesn't.
Can I hand over my like suit cleaning spray and like the cleaning wipe that I carry with me?
Yes. I can wipe off the coin.
Wow, I didn't think I'd get to meet one of your new students so soon.
Yeah, about that. So what were you about to say?
So, like, you'll teach me how to use all this?
Yeah, that's the plan. There are others like you around. Seemingly more coins have appeared. And, well, it's in my best interest to make sure you guys know what you're doing with them.
I think we get a couple panels of her just, like, thinking this over. And then she just, like, aggressively sticks her hand out to shake yours.
I think Ryder would definitely take it. Fee would take her hand and shake her hand. So, are you okay, Light?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I've taken way worse punches than what this twerp can deal.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, punching Lighthammer on camera, so much street cred.
For what it's worth, like, the fans are really into your, like, look and your aesthetic. And I, like, pull out my phone, which, as we remember, is tucked into my chest because I don't have pockets, canonically, and I've never gotten pockets because it's about the aesthetic. Because it's about the aesthetic. So I pull my phone out, which is, like, tucked in my non-existent cleavage. And I, like, pull it out, and I'm, like, scrolling through the feed and, like, showing, like, the comments. And I'm like, yeah, they're really into this, like, look here.
Of course they are.
I turn to Ryder, I'm like, do you think I could rock a mohawk?
You know what? I think you could. The gold would have to go, though.
HP is in the background, like, mimicking gagging.
I look at Ryder and I'm like, I love when you lie to me.
And there'd be a huge shit-eating grin on Ryder's face.
Can I come in at this point?
Absolutely.
I think you two turn around to HP again, and you're about to say something, and then suddenly, like from out of the panel, this big projectile hits HP and knocks her over, And when the dust settles, you can see that it's the tied up body of Gun Wizard. And Enki lands into the panel and goes, "Yeah, 2 villains, 1 night. What's up?"
Inky!
Oh my god.
I want to high five him.
No!
I go to a high five, Brian.
Are you okay?
Your hand gets very dirty.
I think we get like a final panel. So we get the panel of the crash happening, and then the next panel is back where we were fighting the cranes, and we can see the 2 cranes lying on the ground and with the vines overgrown, and we see Gerard, and Gerard has like 2 massive swords out, and is sitting on this giant white stag, and it's really majestic. And we see like a speech bubble in Gerard's speech that says, "Wait, where is everybody?"
Fantastic. I have a deposit that Gerard's speech, the letters are all just vines.
Yes.
Like, the artists don't draw Gerard speaking much because it's all just really elaborate vine work. It's just too expensive. And T, you said you wanted to set this scene?
So I think the first thing we see of this scene is me and Ryder, like in plain clothes, coming back from somewhere, probably late in the evening, and like we're probably dressed up, not super, super nice, but like dressed up, like date night dressed up. Not like date night the episode, but like we were on a date. And I think we're at your apartment probably.
I think we have an editor's note that says a few days later.
Well, hey, we're here now at your apartment. I don't know if Leo's home or not. But do you mind if I could just come in for a minute or so?
Sure. I mean, it's technically my building now. So, yeah. Let's head on up.
I was thinking we're like at the door to your apartment, like we're like about to like walk inside.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, no, that works. Yeah. He would just literally swipe his arm over the door, and the door would go click and open up.
I'm going to throw in one tiny detail. There's a lot of spray painted graffiti on the outside of this building that we have never seen before, primarily in gold, red, and black designs.
Oh my god, I love her. And we open up and it's like really dark in your apartment. And I reach over and flick a light switch. And then I think we get a panel of like everyone jumping out from behind furniture and stuff and yelling surprise. And we see like Enki, we see Brian, but we also see Faye and Supai, we see Leo, we see HP, like everyone is there.
What did you... And basically the next panel would be him covering his mouth with both of his hands.
It's your last night as part of the team. So, you know, I wanted to do something special.
Oh, thank you so much, Light. And Ryder literally picks up and squeezes Light. I'm trying not to crush you. So how did you get everyone here? When?
I texted your uncle. It was very easy. I have his number.
I know, but
We get a panel of like Leo on the other side of the room, like lifting a glass. Like, Fee, I know how to use a phone. I'm not that old.
I'm not quite so sure, old man. Not quite so sure. How did you get this past my security system?
What security system?
Oh,
And Asimov standing like at a diswired panel.
I would say you're going to pay for that, but you know what? I've got people to fix that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I mean, okay, well, let's get this party started.
I would love to have a little bit more of a conversation later, but I think like we can do like montage of party scenes, short conversation, montage of party scene, short conversation, that kind of thing.
I want a scene with Fee and an Inky. And he looks at, because I imagine that he'd be near the house plants. And Fee would look at Inky and go, "So where's Gerard tonight?"
I don't know where Gerard is, actually. That's a good question. Huh.
You misplaced the talking house plant?
I mean, he has his own life. I don't know where he goes every night.
Wait, he does?
I think we get a cutaway of Gerard sitting at like a log that looks suspiciously like a bar top with a pitcher plant in one hand or one vine.
We get a transition of like Felix and Lighthammer dancing, and then like Faye comes to dance with Felix, and there's like awkward like stare down between the two of them, And Lighthammer finally does back off and let Faye and Felix dance.
I'm just so glad that Fee's a better dancer.
In the montage, by the way, I think we need to have one panel of like Faye and Enki passing each other by and just totally not even noticing each other. I don't know this person.
Does Brian want anything other than destroying my security system?
I mean, I think he's very nervously chatting and looking uncomfortable the whole time. Not used to this many people.
I think we get some montage panels of everybody having fun, and I think Enki walks up to Light and goes, "Hey Light, there's somebody I'd like you to meet. I think you'd be a big fan."
I don't even look, and I'm like, Enki, if you're about to throw a fan into my hands, I don't actually know what I'm gonna do. And then I turn to see who's there.
And I whistle, and in the door comes walking this giant white stag, and it's extremely majestic. It's like every move it takes is like the exact perfect move to take, and it slowly strolls in and walks towards me, and it looks at me and goes,
There needs to be a small, like tiny chibi bee in the background going, "Who let a damn deer into my apartment?"
"Light, this is Greg. Greg, this is Light." The white stag looks at you and goes, and takes a small bow and goes, "I'm Greg the Stoic. Nice to meet you."
I think 3 panels where I don't say anything, and then I'm like, okay, if he's joining the team, we have to get him a golden bridle to make sure that it matches, and also probably a golden saddle. I need to talk to my costume people, and I think we get like a panel that just like goes on with just words kind of fading.
I think Greg looks at Light and goes, "That sounds smashing."
I think we turn the page. In our next panel, we see who's out on the balcony.
It'll probably be Fee because he's complaining about the graffiti.
Okay.
To himself. There's the small birds, maybe not even eligible, but he's complaining about the graffiti.
And I think we see like Lighthammer step out into the balcony, and in the background we can see the stag is like tinsel in their antlers now.
First graffiti, now a stag. I just hope that thing doesn't poop in my apartment. I hear that's pretty hard to clean up. Oh, Light. How can I help you? Hey, babe. Yeah, that sounds better coming out of your mouth.
That was the most formal greeting I've ever heard in my entire life. And I like wrap my arm around yours.
Yeah, can you tell I'm stressed? This is new. Not this. Not here.
I get it. It's a new adventure. Leaving what you know, going off to do something different. But if anyone can show these kids how to be better heroes, it's you. I mean, that's what you did with me. The first time I met you, I almost gave away your secret identity. I almost got us both killed. And I was also just kind of generally obnoxious. And now I kind of feel like a legitimate hero.
You've always been a hero. It's been intense.
Yeah, you can say that again.
These kids are dangerous, but in all honesty, so are we.
Your kids are mine. Do you mean HP and her lot, or do you mean Brian and Enki?
Yes. And he just nods his head vigorously.
You know, I always wanted to be a dad. I never thought it was going to be like this.
No, we've got this. And it's not like I'm going to be too far away. And Ryder actually hands Light something, a small form of a small watch that's in the actual same shape as the buckler. If you ever need anything, you know how to get me on the phone, but that'll get me here faster.
If I ever need anything, you better be right around the fucking corner. Like, just because you're leaving the team doesn't mean that we're not still, you know, bound together eternally in true love or whatever bullshit.
I know, but I don't have super hearing. And if I'm on the other side of the city battling other dimensional riders, just hit that button. They'll stop for a minute to let me take care of whatever's bothering you.
You do realize I'm going to abuse this privilege, right?
Oh, maliciously.
Glad that we're on the same page. I think I just like lean my head on your shoulder, and I kind of think that can be the end of the scene there.
That's perfect.
So you have Brian just like slowly come up to Felix. He's holding something sort of just like at his side. Hey, he lifts it up, and it's the mask that he used to wear before, or back when he was just wearing sort of a rider mask.
Hey, I remember that. You wore that during the Astron blockade. I'm surprised it's still in such good condition. And he actually takes it in his hands and looks over it.
Yeah. I guess initially I sort of based my identity on you in a way. But I guess I should really be trying to find my own sort of person. So I guess maybe you should have that now.
And I think Ryder would turn to look out towards the city and say, Brian, you've always been your own person. Always. Even with the mask. Here. And he places it in Brian's hands. And he's like, keep it. Be you.
Well, I mean, I've also got this other cool thing, and just suddenly the helmet materializes with whatever I described before, like the A-shaped visors.
Okay. That's cool. How long did it take you to make that?
Well, I mean, I had to rebuild another one after I lost everything at the hospital.
Okay,
I
that
was
wasn't my fault.
just waiting to. I've just kind of been keeping this a secret.
That's awesome. And then Ryder or then Fee kind of like steps closer to Brian and takes the mask, the Ryder mask, and kind of sets it over the visor, the new helmet he's got, and sets it on sideways. And there you go. Now it's complete.
I want to just hug.
We turn the page from that beautiful scene, and I think we see like some hugs and like no words in the page, just goodbyes as the team leaves, and we're left with just Felix, HP, and Leo. And then I think we get Fee turning back in, closing the door, and HP is just lounged out on a couch, throwing her coin into the air and catching it. And Leo turns and goes, well, we need to head out in the morning. We've got more coins popping up. We got to head overseas. You ready, Fee?
Yeah. Before we go, we need to really look at the mechanism holding my coin in my buckler. It's been abused. And I think he looks directly at HP when he said that.
And HP just gives a big smile.
So, Halfpipe, you up for this?
Don't have much better going on since you all put Gun Wizard in jail.
Yeah, I never asked. Why were you working with him again?
Something to do. But y'all seem more interesting.
Yeah. Well, the Ryder legacy must go on. And I think Ryder would walk out to the balcony one last time and look down and see the rest of the team walking away.
Oof. I think on that scene of the balcony, we've got like Ryder transforming into suit as you step out and like watching them walk away, and then HP walking up behind in suit. You like that?
I love that. Yes.
Can I add one thing to that scene?
Yeah.
So I think the left part of the scene is Felix and HP in suit, and then the right part of the scene is Brian in the suit that he now wears. That's not Felix themed, and then next to him is Enki, who is clearly in a suit inspired by Brian.
Oh,
yes.
like a half shot. Yeah, like a half panel page. Oh, that's amazing.
Bruh.
And then we're gonna cut over to the group walking away.
So that was a lot. How's everyone doing? And I think there's like 4 panels of silence, and I'm like, great, yeah, that was okay. Look, I'm bad at the emotional side of being a leader, but I'm what you've got now. So I think the 3 of us are going to make an incredible team. Sorry, the 4 of us. And I look at Greg the Stoic. The 4 of us, sorry. And I don't know. It's going to be an adjustment, but I'm really proud of all of us, and I'm really proud of you too. And this is going to be great.
And I think the only one that reacts is Greg, and Greg goes, "And I think you'll do great." And he has an entire new outfit that maybe you should describe.
I don't know if I've had time to get him the outfit yet.
I think for comedy's sake, you have.
Okay,
Even if
perfect.
it's just for this panel.
He is wearing a gold and teal saddle with a gold and teal bridle on, matching identically to Lighthammer. And if you look really closely, stitched on the almost embroidery style, in just a slightly different gold than the other gold, is LH on each side of the saddle.
Fantastic.
I look at the two of you and I'm like, okay, let's go get some ice cream. Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets, TP Hughes, and Elliot Peterson, and edited by Anthony Sheets and Sean Geddes. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at icynewyear.com. T is a theater artist and educator in the DC area. She can be found at T Hughes Playwright on Twitter or TPHughes94 on Instagram. Elliot can be found at Elliot Yellen on Twitter. That's ELLIOTYLEN. Sean can be found at The Crumpit, THECRUMPIT, on Twitter. Moon Harbor Heroes is played using Masks: A New Generation, written by Brendan Conway and produced by Magpie Games. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. This issue is GM'd by Anthony Sheets. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter or as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at It's EXPHP on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Enki is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him as at Gilbereka, GILBERREKE on Twitter. Lighthammer is played by T. Hughes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice or tell a friend. 5-star reviews and word of mouth are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out at patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus issues each month. And thank you for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.
In the montage, by the way, I think we need to have one panel of like Faye and Enki passing each other by and just totally not even noticing each other. I didn't know this person.
So
Wow, way to make it fucking sad, Gil.
Does Faye need to roll? Does Faye need to roll for powerful blow? I mean,
I'll remind T next time we play Elspawn.
I was more thinking that like this is a comic book line and the fans have been waiting probably for Faye and Enki to meet each other and like what would happen if Faye and Enki meet, and like this is the moment and it's just some throwaway party panel where they just walk past each other, maybe nod, be like hey, just go on.
I love the canon nods. They're amazing. They're amazing.
What else do we want out of this issue?
Does Brian want anything other than destroying my security system?